The hazards and efficacy of conventional broad-spectrum pesticides are increasingly being examined. Scientists at AgResearch in Lincoln are looking for biological agents that are toxic only to unwanted pests, but have little negative impact on the environment.
I'm an entomologist and I've spent many years working on biological control and finding ways to control pests that don't involve heavy chemicals. Here at AgResearch, I'm working primarily on native pests, particularly scarab beetles, so things like grass grub, and also some exotic pests like black beetle. And they're insects we're targeting with biopesticides. Both grass scrub and black beetle, their worst primary damage is to the grass roots. So the larvae live underground and they feed on the grass roots, which obviously is bad for the grass, and when the cow comes along and feeds on it, they pull the grass up. It just rips out straight from the soil, and that's a real problem in terms of grazing and plant production. In terms of biopesticides, you need to make sure you know what pest you've actually got. There's a number of these pests people can get confused, whether they've got grass scrub, whether they've got manuka beetle, whether they've got purina. So you need to know which pest you have. And then timing's really important, because biopesticides tend to work best at particular life stages. So you need to know when that life stage is present and select the appropriate agent to target your pest. Some of our agents are also active against globally important pests, things like diamondback moth, which is a pest on brassicas. With some things, work on grass grub. Grass grub is unique to New Zealand, so the research is only relevant to that insect in this country. Black beetle is a pest in Australia and also in its original range in Africa. There's work on biopesticides all over the world, but we have some special agents that are important to New Zealand for our unique environment.
Biopesticides can be one or two things, either bacteria or fungi. So fungi are like the mushrooms that grow in your paddock, but what we're mainly interested in is bacteria. There's one bacteria that has good potential international appeal called Yersinia entomophaga. This one kills a range of scarabs, black beetle, grass grub, manuka beetle, also a range of caterpillars like Purina plantain, and international pests like Helicoverta, which is cotton bollworm. But it doesn't kill a lot of other insect species, specifically, butterfly type and bee-like. So this is one that we're trying to take further, and we have sided with some international collaborators to help take this through, where formulation will be the key in making it persist. The true benefit of a biological is that they don't leave long-term chemical residues, and you can apply them today, 40 days later you won't find them, they've just died out and gone. The key challenge is one which we've overcome, is finding some good biologicals that show good efficacy comparable to that of a chemical equivalent, because that is the only way farmers will maintain their uptake. The other true challenge is that many of these bacteria we're working on are what they call non-spore formers. So therefore we need to use our formulation team to come up with formulations that help them persist. So earlier I said some of these bacteria die out within 40 days. Using formulation technologies, we can lengthen that time span and more tailor the delivery so it targets the insect. So it's more efficient at killing within the first several days of application. This is actually the fermentation room where step one is work out how these bacteria grow, what are the best media conditions for the growth. So one of the key things in defining is this bacteria useful, it has to be easy to grow. So they screen a wide range of different low-cost media, work out the best growth parameters, and then they run it through larger scale multi-vessel fermenters, and then they take it to a pilot fermenter, which is a precursor to taking it to a field trial. So often key to application of these biopesticides is how you apply. So it's either typically through a seed drill, which we will coat seeds such as ryegrass or clover with the actual biological active. If we're looking at black beetle, we're looking at a broadcast where you want to scatter your bait or bacteria across the field, and here we have a bait-like matrix. It's kind of like a mini muesli bar with a bacteria infused in it. Another system we're using is drillable granules that will just go down the seed drill, similar to a seed, but they'll go in furrow along with the seeds and deliver your microbe that way. The bait we're trying to make as small as possible, so that will increase your dispersion rate. So you can imagine the more smaller particles, the wider area you're going to cover with a kilo. So we're currently seeing how small we can make that, and that's usually a typical principle for a lot of this in furrow stuff. The smaller it is, the wider you can distribute it. Another biopesticide aside to Yersinia is one called Serratia protomaculans that has shown very good control of some New Zealand endemic pests, Manuka beetle and grass scrub. In both pot trials and field trials, we've found that it's given equal efficacy, i.e. control at killing larvae, as a chemical alternative. So to us, this looks like a real promising candidate as a future biopesticide.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.